Welcome or welcome back to my channel for my weekly transit report called What's New with Human Design. Tomorrow, December 14th, the sun is going to move into the gate 11 and the earth is going to move into the gate 12. So we're going to dive into those two gates, but I also want to point out that we have an enormous amount of individual or mutative energy happening in the chart this week. So I'll come back to that in a moment. The gate 11, which is in the sensing circuit, so it's part of right-brained energy, it's creative, it's expansive, it's somatic, and it's interesting because the gate 11 is on the Ajna center, which is like the thinking center or the thinking brain. And the gate 11 is known as the gate of ideas in traditional human design, or the conceptualist in quantum human design. So even though it is a right brain energy and it's creative, it's also a lot of ideas. And so it's kind of mental. So it almost has a little bit of creative tension just built right into that particular gate. This energy has lots and 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 lots of ideas. And people I've done readings for who have this defined in their chart will say, I have so many ideas. And sometimes they can feel really overwhelmed. So while the sun is transiting this gate, it is possible that you might start to feel really overwhelmed by how many different ideas that you have coming into your head. It can also be really awesome because you're feeling like you have so many wonderful ideas that are coming in. In order to avoid getting overwhelmed, my recommendation is that you write them down. You just have a little journal and you write them down as much as possible. And you can go back and look at them later and use your inner authority to discern if these ideas are for you, if they're for you now, if they're for you later, if they're for someone else, if they're for no one. And so you can sort of sort through them that way. But just doing a brain dump can be very helpful. And sometimes just the process of doing a brain dump will tell you which of these is really for you and is for you now. Because you could be getting ideas for yourself that are for 5 years from now. Okay. But you could also be getting ideas for either people you know in your life, or you can be getting ideas for humanity. So be open to what could be coming in during this time through that gate 11, and know that even though they are ideas, there's also this kind of creative, expansive quality to it. And that you don't want to try to confine it or limit it or put it in a box too fast. You want to be able to have breathing space so that everything that is possible for you to receive from it will come in. And then when the sun moves out of the 11, you'll have more of an opportunity maybe to go back and dive into it. But you may also have this energy carried with you for a while if you really like it, because it's one of the things that we can do when we understand these energies and are able to practice them in our lives. Now, the earth is moving into the gate 12. The 12 is on the throat and it is in the knowing circuit. In traditional human design, it's known as caution, and in quantum human design, it's known as the channel. For people who have the 12 defined in their chart and have an open throat, I have this configuration. That is a configuration really for people who channel, who can bring in energies from non-physical and then be able to express what they have to say. And I have done this in my life. I trained as an Awakening Your Light Body teacher many years ago and taught that work for a long time. And part of teaching that work is being able to channel the energy of the guides that are helping us to awaken our light body. And so this is a really interesting energy. It's very potent. Even if you have a defined throat, it can still be an asset for bringing into verbal form what the downloads are that we're getting from super consciousness. Because as I said, it is in the knowing circuit and it's on the throat. So it can actually express. Because sometimes when you get downloads or you have knowing, it's hard to verbalize. it's almost in another nonverbal realm. I don't know if any of you have experienced that. I've had that. So having the 12 can help you then to put words to what it is that you're receiving from superconsciousness. So if it's not defined in your chart, you may find that you can be a little more verbal during this transit with things that have felt a little more murky or a little more out of touch, but maybe you felt and you had a deep sense of knowing inside, but you had a hard time getting a handle on it and expressing it. This could be a good time. You can do this in writing as well as in speaking. You might want to be recording things in a voice memo. You might want to be writing. You could be doing videos, because between the ideas coming in and the ability to express them, it could be a very, very dynamic week for bringing into form some of the things that you have had knocking around, but you haven't yet been able to actually use words for. The thing about the expression of the 12 is like all expression really, but particularly because this is energy that is coming from non-physical and it is expressive, is to do it at the right time and to do it with the right people. It's kind of like that energy you can get with the Genius Freak Gate, the 43, also in the knowing circuit, and you're expressing something that is different. It's not the way other people see things, not the way other people think, not in alignment with the structures that already are. A lot of times, this is really revolutionary, evolutionary breakthrough insights and expressions. And so you want to be able to offer them and share them at the right time with the right people so that they are received. You certainly can be writing them down or putting them in voice memos or making videos and so on whenever you want to. But then when do you share? How do you share? With whom? In what situation? You want to be able to think about that. And that's a very grounding energy, right? The earth is saying we need to ground these insights in a sense of materiality and relationship to other people in the world. And this is just super important for all of the energies that come through the knowing circuit in particular, because it's just so different. Let's take a look at some other elements in the chart. So this week, the 12 is connecting to its mate, the 22. So it's completing that channel. That channel is in the knowing circuit. We've had the 3420 being defined by the nodes. And at one point they were being defined by the sun and the earth. Right now the Mars is in the 34, which means that we've just got a lot of emphasis on that 34. And so we've had the 3420, which is in the integration circuit. And then we have the 3410 defined this week, which is in the centering circuit, which is also individual circuitry. And we have the 2010, which is also part of the integration circuit. Individual circuitry. So all of these channels, in addition to the 6124, which is up here at the top of the head, all of this is individual circuitry, which again is mutative. It's here to be different. It's here to bring change. It doesn't fit in. It's not collective circuitry or tribal circuitry. It's all really, in my view, the energy that we need to be breaking through the challenges that we have in our world today, because we need to be connecting with super consciousness and to be receiving insights and inspirations and possibilities and potentials that are seen in the unseen realms, and that we here being in material reality sometimes have a hard time accessing. So being able to open that up and have it be guiding us from the inside so that we can see new possibilities where before all we saw was disaster, for example, right? So we have very mutative energy happening this week all over the chart. This is a big change from where we were in the last transit, which was a lot of tribal energy. And then the week before that, there was a lot of collective energy. But through the fall, an awful lot of what we've been experiencing is this individual mutative energy, often in the knowing circuit. Also today, we have the integration circuit and the centering circuit happening. So what this means for you during this transit is to be leaning into possibilities and to be receiving breakthrough insights that maybe haven't been available to you at other times, or maybe have come your way, but you've rejected them. Because that happens. People do that all the time. They get new ideas, they get new inspirations, and it doesn't fit in with what they perceive to be their world and their life, and so they reject them. My invitation to you, particularly during this transit, is not to reject them. If it's not the right time, as I just said, talking about the gate 12, to share them with other people, that's fine. Just because you get an inspiration or an insight or your intuition is strong doesn't mean you have to share that with people immediately. You can keep it close in, and you can nurture it in your own heart and in your own subconscious, which will be working with it when you're not really paying attention, and in your journal and in your collaging and whatever you do that's your creative activity. You can be holding on to it and nurturing it and honoring it and seeing when the right time is going to come in. So take the pressure off of feeling that if you get new ideas or new downloads that you need to share them. And that might enable you to actually embrace them and write them down and pay attention to them, knowing that you can keep them for yourself for now. It's worth noting that Venus is also in the gate 61 with Pluto. Pluto's been there for a long time. He's just been in that gate 61, which is the gate of wonder, the beginning of the knowing circuit. But Venus is there right now too, and she's lighting it up. And so that is our feminine energy, our feminine power is lighting up this gate of wonder. Whenever you see two planets in a gate, meaning that the numbers show up twice, then you know that's a major theme. So the 61 is even a bigger theme for us right now because Venus is there along with Pluto. And all of this is gaining far more intensity because Jupiter is lighting up the gate 30, the gate of passion in quantum human design. In the I Ching, it's known as clinging fire. This is a very, very powerful energy. When we see it in the chart, we know that we amplify the level of intensity of the chart by as many as 10 times. And so we know that right now we've got the planet of expansion is lighting up the gate of passion and intensity. We're likely to have a pretty intense time during this transit. So my recommendation to you is to be paying attention to how you and the people around you may start to think differently, what kind of passion that they have, that they're putting into that. The ideas may be coming fast and furious. They might be wanting to express them. And if they have an open throat, they may be expressing them in awkward ways or at the wrong time and blurting them out or not being able to stop. And so have a lot of compassion for what might be happening for yourself and for others during this time, and lean into the positive possibilities, which I believe are myriad in what we've got going here, and that I hope I have helped you to see as well. If you haven't been able to see the video I put out last Thursday, here it is. It is the one that is about right work. It's the third in a series of 3. If you haven't watched it already, I invite you to go and look at the third video I've done about right work, which really applies to everyone, not just to generators and manifesting generators. And I do a series of case studies that I hope could be influential for you and might help you to be able to look at your own chart and do a little more sleuthing about what are some of the qualities that will contribute to making sure that you're doing your right work in the well. Many blessings, much love. Bye for now.